Mr. Barnիє, thank you so much for joining us on Euronews. You were one of the key figures in the Brexit process. 10 years on, what is the assessment that you make?
10 years after, the Brexit remains, for both sides, a lose-lose game. So we have to draw the lessons about the reason of the Brexit, why 52% of the British people vote against Europe. Brussels was presented by everybody, the nationalist sides, Farage, Johnson, as a kind of scapegoat. Everybody knows that is not the case. A part of the answers, a part of the solutions are in Brussels, but just a part. A large part of the other answers are in London or in the regions. But nevertheless, the point is that the Brexit is done, for us is on the book, and now we have to work in the best way as possible. The FTA, the trade agreement is clearly done, and there will be no cherry picking in the future, but we have a lot of things to do with UK for the stability, the security and the defense of Europe, in my view.
And when I listen to your words, the impression that I get is that you do believe this process is over. The conversation of returning to the EU, is that something that you'd say it's a fantasy?
No, I don't think so. I think the Brexit decided by a sovereign vote 10 years ago is done, but the future is open and the door is open.
The door is open?
Yes, the door is open. And the UK governments, the UK authorities, the UK the public parties knows clearly what are the conditions.
And what are the conditions? Because it seems to me in the UK, those who have tried to implement Brexit, they hit a wall with the economy because it doesn't really work. And those who try to reset, they struggle to explain how it would work.
You can have the cake and eat it. You cannot dance in two weddings at the same time. So the conditions are very clear. If you want to join the single market, being outside of the union, look at the Norway case. Norway is inside the single market, their choice, a right choice in my view, for the mutual benefit, but they didn't want to be inside the union, the European Union. So it's perfectly possible, but the conditions are for any country joining the single market, for instance, to respect the four freedoms and the indivisibility of the four freedoms.
And to make those decisions, the next UK Prime Minister will have to make very bold choices. Do you see the political courage to openly say to the public opinion in the UK, we are going to start a process that maybe brings that back into the Union?
It will be a sovereign choice of the UK to engage in new negotiation, but the conditions are clear. I think it will take time. So in the meantime, we have a lot to do together, for instance, for defense, for security, for cooperation between the services, even for investment in artificial intelligence or new technology. I think we have lots of things to do together. And I have even proposed to facilitate this cooperation between UK and the EU to create a new body, which could be a kind of a European Council for Defense and Security, on the side of the current institutions, open to some country we are no longer or not yet in the EU, for instance, obviously UK, but also Norway or Ukraine.
When you see that Nigel Farage, and you know him from Brussels, he really orchestrated this idea of Brexit liberation for the UK. Now he's polling very strongly in the United Kingdom, even though you could argue he was not able to deliver on those promises. Is that something that shocks you?
No, that is the proof that in any case, and each and every country, even in France, we have to address the problems of the people. And the problems are very serious. There is even a kind of hunger in many countries, in many regions, about unemployment, about public services, for health, for transportation, about uncontrolled migration. We need to address this problem at the right level. This is the difference with Mr. Farage. During the campaign, Farage said every day, every night, everything is the responsibility in Brussels as a scapegoat. It was not true.
And we will get the money.
But now he has no longer the scapegoat to use, but he can use the problem with people. So we have to find the right answer at the right level, national level, local and regional level.
If there was a sort of re-engagement, what should the head of the Commission do? How do you go about a re-engagement if this idea of the UK maybe one day rejoining in some capacity?
Once again, it will be the choice of the UK to open this discussion, and we are ready. The door is open, and at that time there will be a new negotiation.
I wonder, however, the return of the UK, assuming that is the choice of the UK people, to say, we tried, didn't work, we want to be back in the Union. Is that a process that goes bit by bit, the way that a country like Ukraine would have to, or do you see a big bang saying, come on, they were in the Union, we can't accelerate?
But the answer is in the hands of the UK. If from now to this time where a new negotiation would be start, the UK create a huge divergence from the standards, the norms for food, for the security, we will have a problem. It will take time, much more time. The point is, if there is no divergence, no crucial divergence, it will be very rapid.
And is this conversation...
We can't compare, we can't confuse the very long process in some time with new countries we want to access to the EU and a former member state.
And is this conversation happening, would you argue, based on your political instinct, as a result of Brexit did not really deliver what it promised? Or is it also the product of Donald Trump, which now means the Europeans have realized they got to come together?
But we have to explain that the UK left 10 years ago, not the same today. We have provoked and created a lot of change, in my view, in a good sense, good direction, because of the COVID crisis, because of the problem created by the uncontrolled migration, because of the financial crisis too, 15 years ago, and also because of the incredible war, the aggression of the Russia against Ukraine. So each of these crises provoked a good reaction, in my view, of the EU. So obviously, the fact that the US president is so aggressive against us is an element, a very important element for us to be sure that we need to do for ourselves what nobody will come to do at our place.
Because you say the US will no longer come to rescue the Europeans.
Don't confuse, don't confound, if I may say, the current US president and the United States of America. For the long term, we will remain allies and friends.
You do believe the relationship can go back even after Trump?
I hope so.
But there is a reality after Brexit. The idea of exit in the European Union no longer became as popular. We don't hear in France the idea of Frexit. In Italy, the Italexit sort of basically died out. The populism within the EU talks about changing from within, not leaving.
But the populists are sometimes clever. And they know that what happened in the world around us with Trump, with the Chinese aggressivity for trade and the aggression of Russia, give the proof to everybody that we need to be together. We are stronger together to defend our interests, our values and our continent. So it's clear from everybody. But I don't think that the populists in France, the nationalists from the far right and the far left, have changed their mind. Mrs. Le Pen, when the day of the Brexit, the night of the Brexit, said, "Congratulations to the British people. They had the courage to escape from the European servitude." So I don't think they changed their mind. These people from the far right and even the far left want to destroy the EU.
They want to destroy the EU.
They are nationalists. They are nationalists.
You think even today when we see a younger candidate potentially in Barnila, you think ultimately the foundation has not changed?
I don't know who will be the candidate. The problem is the substance
that has not changed.
Of their program, of their ideology. They want to destroy the EU. They are anti-European.
You think if there's a way in which they get to government, it would be almost fatal for the European Union as a construction? Sure. Do you think about that?
Listen to Mr. Bardella, you just speak about him. He said a few days ago he wants to cut from 50%, half, the budget, the contribution of France to the European budget. That means he want to destroy the EU, and this is clearly the consequences of this decision.
So then going into 2027 and this election, this is a crucial election in this country. Financial markets are looking at it already.
Not only for France.
Not only for France. This is a systemic country to the EU and a founding member. How do you see your role in this election? And again, what you said now is they want to destroy the EU. That's a big statement.
My role here in the French National Assembly, where we are today, in the French debate, and as a former Prime Minister, is to work for the unity of the center-right. Because I think that the unity, supporting one single candidate and acting about one single program, is the only way to avoid the incredible duel at the second term of the presidential election between the two candidates from the nationalist side.
Would you say that's an existential threat to France and therefore by the EU, if that is what it comes down to?
I think it would be dramatic for France and for Europe.
Do you consider playing an active role yourself
on the ground? I don't want to personalize this debate. I am playing an active role.
Well, thank you, Michel Barnier, on that note. Thank you so much for joining us.